Right. Then we have the class instance variables declared and constructor declared. Yes, we have used this keyword in order to access these values because instance variable name and the parameter variable is the same. Therefore, if you want to assign the value of this parameter to this instance variable, you need to refer that by using this dot name. Is correct. Okay, right now. Okay, right. Okay, where is the bracket? Here. And let's display a message saying the balance updated. Oh, account balance updated. Don't you have the withdraw message? You have, right?
So I added that in code.
Yes, yeah, right. New balance after deposit, balance updated, right. Withdraw. Okay, now this has to done like it's a if condition, right? Isn't it?
Sorry, sir.
Chatura?
Yes.
On the
Um,
balance withdrawing.
yes.
If you do not have the available balance to withdraw, then it should display the message, right? What kind of message it should display, right? If here withdraw what WD, if it is this can happen only if the WD is less than or equals to the balance available right now. Then you can use this dot balance, but by you can refer by balance because you are referring to the balance here. And here, why you are using this dot balance right now? You are referring. You have only one type of variable here, balance. You are referring to this, right? And if the withdrawal amount, if it is less than or equals to balance, then you can let them withdraw. And right now you can say deposit. You can say deposit updated. Let's say, and then again, if you have method call right now for an example, okay, let's do it. And withdrawal, withdrawal, deposit successfully. Right, then we can say the same thing, withdrawal success. Withdrawn successfully, right. And thereafter we can close this bracket. If not, we have to say else not enough balance. Insufficient balance. Insufficient balance. And right. And then you can close the bracket. Right. And then we have the class test. Deposit and account balance is this. Right. Okay. And we can have another method, let's say now internal use only. Right now, like every time if you want to print the balance as well, right now we can have a balance method called void um, print balance or something. Then here you can say account ID, account, then we can have the account ID and balance. And we can call this method right now after withdrawn successfully. We can call the method. And after, if the withdrawal successfully also, we can call the method, right? Okay, let's run it and see. Yeah, okay, you can call the balance like this as well. Right. Java C, test.java. Right now, initially, okay, right now at here we'll say account created. From the constructor, we'll say new account created. Account is then deposit successfully, right? We have to compile it first, and then uh, if you run this, it is a new account created 1234 and deposit successfully, and account 1234 balance 6,000, right? And then is that you are depositing? Okay, initial balance is 5,000, deposit 1,000, and withdrawn successfully account and the balance 5,500. And here you call this method as well, right? Get account balance here to display the account balance at the end, right? Now here this is how you create a parameterized constructor. Now this is what you call as the parameterized constructor. Is everyone able to complete up to this point, or any? If you have any questions, please ask. If you are unable to complete up to this point, please ask. Right now, let's take the user inputs. Let's modify this code. I'll give you 2 minutes time to take the user inputs. That means amount user wants to withdraw, amount user wants to deposit likewise. Okay, change the code quickly. Right now, the same thing. This is what I want you to do now. Okay, now, right now, both the count class and the test class in the same place. No, right. Now, this is what I want you to do. Right now, I want you to create a folder. Let's say this is the working folder, and then in right now, in my case, let's say ex. Right inside the ex folder, I want you to have the test class, and inside the ex folder, I want you to create another folder called code. Okay, inside this folder, I want you to create another folder code, and then let's say what bank. Mm, right now, you need to have let's say you need to have folder called ex. Then I want to have the test.java file there, and thereafter I want you to create code folder, simple code, let's say for reference. And I want to create another folder called com. Inside the com, I need to have this account.java. Right. This is a folder, and this is another folder. We have folder here. This is another folder code, and inside this, there's another folder com. We have test.java here, and we have the code folder. Inside the code, we have com folder. Inside the com folder, we have account.java file, right? Okay. Now, save these files. Now, here we have in one file. Right now, save these in two files, right? And then let me show you that as well. Right now, let me create, now let me delete this altogether. Right now, this is my EX folder, right? EX folder. And the EX folder, I'm going to create a folder called, okay, first I'm going to create a folder called EX, code. I'm going to create a folder called code. And inside the folder code, I'm going to create another folder called com. And inside this folder, I'm going to save the account class. Right. Now, this is my account class. Let me save it. Save as inside the code. com. I'm going to save it as account.java. 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 Right. And I'm going to create another one to save my test class. Save inside the EX folder where I have the code folder. I'm going to create a class called test.java. Right. Okay, then I ask you to do a change. That is to, all right, now we don't need this anymore, let's say. Right now, I want you to create a scan object, and then using the scan object, I want to get the values user wants to deposit, and then call the respective methods. Okay, do the change and then try to run this. Right now, you can see this is how the folder structure, and try to run it and tell me what are the difficulties you're going to face now. I think the time is more than enough. Now tell me, right now, when you try to compile this, what are the difficulties you are facing now? Right now, fish. Okay, now this is my account class, which is inside the com folder, right? Now, if I try to compile my test class now, right now it says what? Okay, I have to compile first now, Java C. Right now it says account cannot find symbol. Right now in the line number 3 in the test class in line number 3 here, this one, I'm trying to create an account object. But now then that is, it says class account inside the class test, location class test cannot find the symbol. Right, why is it? Because now the class account is in a different place. But then we have not indicated that, okay, this is in a different place. Therefore, first, you need to declare the package statement. Right now, the package means like now, normally, the way you categorize right now Java packages. Right now, for an example, right now, if you have files, then you may organize the files in a way, right? You may create a one folder, and let's say the day one, or likewise, you may create different folders and related classes you put into different folders. Likewise, Java packages to group related classes. Right now, in simply in physically, there's a folder in a file directory. Therefore, we use packages to avoid name conflicts and in order to write the better codes or the user-friendly codes right now. Then when it comes to packages, there are built-in packages that is from the JRE, from the packages from the Java application programming interface. Like now, for an example, we said that from the java.util.scan, like from the util package, likewise. Then that is the built-in packages, and you can have your own packages as well. Your own packages we call as user-defined packages. Therefore, built-in packages are from the Java API. That means the predefined or pre-written classes in the Java library. Now, which can be used in the development. Right now, one of the example we are using is like whenever you want to use the scanner here. Right now, if I want to use the scanner, if I want to use the scanner, I have to use. Right now, let's say I'm going to use the scanner as the input stream as system.in. Right. Now, since I want to use the scanner, right, if I try to just compile the scanner, right, I will get an error, illegal start of expression. Right, then, okay, that is due to this bracket. Right, again, you will get the, cannot find the symbol, like, because the scanner cannot find. Therefore, it cannot locate. Therefore, I have to say that, okay, you are importing, import java.util.scanner, import java.util.scanner right now. If you are importing only particular class, you can say the class name here. But if you want to import all the classes inside the util package, you can just mention the asterisk here. And since we know already we only require the scanner, therefore we can say import statement. Right now you need to remember that if there is no import statements, no package statements, the first line of code is the class statement. If you have a class keyword, if you are using a class with the import statements, then the import statement going to be your first line of the code in your class. Right now this is a right now predefined or the built-in package. Now I'm using Java built-in packages. Right, now if I try to compile, now I am getting an error for the account class. Now account class I have created, but the compiler cannot locate it. Therefore, I have to go to the account class, then I have to say, okay, right now I can say, I'm going to import my account class, which is from the which is from the code, right? From the code then com, because we are inside the ex folder. No? At this point, we have to refer to code com. Therefore, I can say import code dot com dot, and since I have only one file here, if I want, I can put the asterisk, it doesn't matter, or else I can make the name there account. Even though I have defined this right now, when I try to find, it says a bad source file code com account.java, because there is the account.java file, then the file does not contain the class code.com.account right now, because there is the source file, but the source file does not contain the class as code/com/account.java, because here I have not defined it as inside the package. Therefore, I have to mention this is okay. You are inside the package code.com. Right now, the first line of my code is the code.com. After the package statements, I need to have all the import statements. After the import statements, I need to have the class statements. Right now, I have the file code com account.java. Right now, if I try to compile now, I'm getting right. Okay, let me save this in the both places. Right. Right now it says line number 7 here. It should be this. What says right? What does it say? What happened actually? Right now let's compile it and see. Error. Cannot find symbol account A1. Cannot find the symbol. I'm going to import code.com and import package code.com, right? And let's define the name here. Right now I'm getting an error saying account is not public. Therefore, I have the account class. I have the account class, but you cannot access from the outside package. Now remember this. Cannot be accessed from the outside the package. Right. Why? Because there is an access modifier. Because I have not given any access modifiers here, that means I have the default access. Therefore, if there is a default access, that means only the package level access. That means if it is in the same folder, same package, you could access. If it is a different package, you cannot access. Therefore, now you need to make sure this is a public class. Right, whenever you make a class as a public class, remember class name and the file name should be the same if it is a public class. If it is a public class, class name and the file name should be the same. Right. Now you are trying to create in line number 8. You are trying to call the constructor. Therefore, the constructor here is not public. Therefore, default access. Therefore, cannot be accessed from the outside the package. Therefore, here you need to make it as public. Therefore, if you provide the public access means any class could access a public method or a public class. Now this got compiled. Right now I can run the right now I can run the output. Right. Therefore, now I can call this. Right. And then you should ask the question, okay, the print balance method is a void method, but no access modifier, but that does not give an error for us. Why is it? Why the print balance method does not give us an error? Anyone? Because the print balance method is not called in the main method or the outside method, outside the class. Therefore, the print balance method is called only by inside methods. Therefore, inside the class, you have the access. Therefore, you don't have to worry about this at all because this has been invoked only within the class itself. Okay, is that clear now? Okay, try this one quickly. Public static void main likewise. Then you know the void means not returning anything, and public means can access anyone, any class because it's a public method, and static. Then we need to talk about the static keyword as well, right? Okay, actually, okay, before we go into the access modifiers, can someone tell me what happens when what is the static Java static keyword? What is it? Now, static also an access modifier can be used, right? Used in methods and attributes. That means for variables and methods, you could use a static, right? If you use the static keyword for a method or a variable, that means it become a non-access modifier. That means a static keyword is a non-access modifier, and when a static keyword is used on methods or attributes can be accessed without creating an object of a class. Now, it can be accessed without creating an object of a class. Right now, without creating an object of the class, you could access it. Now, for an example, um, if you have a like a static behavior, you could access it without creating an object from the class, right? Okay, let's check that all in a little while. Right now, okay, now we are going back to the access modifiers. Now in the access modifiers, right, there are mainly you can divide into access and non-access. Mainly you can divide access modifiers into access and non-access. Access and non-access. Right now, access modifiers and non-access modifiers. Right now, thereafter, now we can have access and non-access modifiers. Access means it controls the access level, and non-access modifiers means do not control the access level but provides the other functionality. Access modifiers and non-access modifiers. Access modifiers control the access level, where non-access modifiers do not control the access levels, it provides the other functionality, right? Now there is then public keyword is an access modifier. Right now in this instance, you can see when we have different packages, when the account class is inside the package code com and the test class is inside a different package, when the test class try to access the account class, if the account class is not a public class, then you cannot access because you don't have the enough access permission, right? Therefore, remember we have the access modifiers, right? Now access, right? Mainly, we can define the access modifiers as okay, access and non-access, right? Access and non-access modifiers. Access modifiers means controls the access. Controls the access. Remember that access modifiers controls the access and non-access modifiers do not do not control the access, do not controls the access, and it provides the other functionalities, but the other functions, right? It provides the other functions. Right, under the access modifiers, right now, we're going to talk about the access modifiers. Then, what are the modifiers that we can use with a class? right? For a class, we can use the access modifiers as public and default. For a class, you can have class access modifiers. Class access modifiers are, now for the time being, we have already used the default access and we have used the, now today we have used the public access. The default access, that means the classes can be accessed only within the package. If only accessible from the, only accessible by classes from the same package. Only accessible by the classes from the same package. If it is public access means access by accessible accessible by any other class regardless the package it could access if it is default or public, right? Then if it is a class, right, now if you use the non-access modifiers, right, now there are access modifiers you can use for the class which are non-access modifiers. Then you can have final class. Final class means the cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. The overridden cannot be overridden. That means cannot be changed. Anyway, the once you declare the class cannot be changed. Attributes or cannot be changed. That means overridden. Right, now string is the final class. Then static. Static is a, right now you can't have the static for the a class keyword class, but you can have it for the methods. Therefore, static we can't have for the classes, right? We can have final. That means cannot be changed, or that means you can simply say cannot be inherited. Cannot be inherited by other classes, by other classes. That means cannot instantiate. And then abstract. You can have a class as an abstract class. Therefore, abstract classes cannot use to create objects. Right now, cannot use to create objects. Cannot use to create objects. And abstract classes may have abstract methods and so on. Right. We can discuss later. Right now, for the time being, you need to remember the class can have public access or default access. Default access means only classes within the same package can access. If it is public class means any class can access. Then you can have the non-access modifiers as well. If it is a non-access modifiers, that means final. That means cannot be inherited by the other classes, or abstract means cannot use to create objects, cannot create objects, abstract classes, right? That is what that is about the class access modifiers, right? Then we have attributes, the variables and the methods, the modifiers which you can use. The class attributes, attributes and the methods, class attributes or methods. Right now, for the class attributes and the methods, right now we can have the default, we can have the public, we have public. Right now default is the less, and then we can have private within the class only. Private, protected, default, and public, protected, default, and public. Private, protected, default, and public. Public. Okay, right now we'll have in the right. Public means any class could access. Default means only accessible by from the same package. Then public means if it is a variable declared or method declared as a public, accessible by any other class. If it is public, if it is default, right. If it is a default, accessible by all accessible by the class only by accessible only by the classes from the same package, accessible by any of the any other class, accessible by classes, accessible by the classes from same package right now, same package, right? And if it is private, if it is protected, if it is protected, we can have accessibility same package when accessible by classes from the same package and subclasses. Same package and subclasses through inheritance. That means through inheritance. Right now, we need to talk about the inheritance as well. Then public, we have thereafter the highest one is the protected because subclasses and public, and then we have protected subclasses accessible by the classes from the same package and subclasses. That means true inheritance, right? True inheritance. And thereafter, we have default. Default means accessible by the classes from the same package. And the private means accessible only within the class. Accessible within the only within the class. Accessible only within the same class, we can say. Right now, if an attribute declared as a public, that means accessed by any class. If it is protected, accessible by the classes from the same package and subclasses through inheritance. And if it is default, accessible by the classes from the same package. But if it is declared as private, that means accessible only within the same class. Right now, for the attributes, non-access modifiers are, we have final, uh, then we have static, then we can have strict FP and transient and volatile. Likewise, you can have synchronized. Likewise, you can have volatile. Right now, there's static means attributes or methods belong only. Attributes and methods belongs to the class. Method belongs to the class, not the object. Transient means will be skipped when serializing, and volatile means not cached thread locally, and you can have strict FP. Right, strict FP means confront to the IEEE floating point standards. Right. Likewise, we have. Right now, let's go through these access modifiers quickly. Right now, when you know that modifiers mainly falls into two type of modifiers: access and non-access. Access modifiers controls the access, where the non-access modifiers do not control the access and they provide the other functionality. Right. Then we're gonna talk about the class access. If you're gonna say we have access from a class to another class, right? If you have access to, from a class to another class, then that means if we say from class A has access to a class B, that means class A, if the class A has access to class B, class A can create an instance of class B. Class A can become a subclass of class B. Class A should be able to access methods and variables of the class B, right, based on the access control given in the class declaration. Therefore, class access. That means, like for an example, in our case, if we say the test class has the access to the student class, that means the test class should be able to create an object from the account class here. And the test class should be able to become a subclass of the account class. Or test class should be able to access certain methods or variables from the account class based on the access modifiers given. Right. Then again we discussed that a class can be declared only with public or default access. That means class can be declared only with public or default access. If it is a default access means if the classes are in the same package, yes, can access. And if it is a default access, no keywords were used, and uh, class with default access has no modifier preceding it in the declaration, and it is the access control you get when you don't type a modifier in the class declaration. This is what you call as the package level access. Package level access. Right now, what do you think about this? Right now, will the class T able to become a subclass of the beverage class? What do you think? Is the T class become a subclass of the beverage class? What do you think?
The T class can access the beverage class.
Right. Okay. Now, in order to answer this question, what you need to do is first you need to look at the first beverage class. Beverage class is inside what package?
Package set
Package set. Right. Then you need to look at the T class. Okay. T class is in what package?
exam.stuff.
Exam.stuff. Right now they are in two different classes. Right. That is confirmed. Now the classes are in two different packages. Right. Therefore, now you should remember, okay, if it is a class can have only two type of access modifiers. What are those? Default and public. If it is default, only that means no keyword use, and then only the package level access. If it is public, anyone could access. Right now, again, which class is accessing what? The T class is accessing the beverage class. Okay. Then you have to check, is the beverage class, what type of access for the beverage class we have? Default or public? Beverage
Default.
class? Default. The beverage class has default access. Yes. Therefore, right now, the beverage class has default access. So, beverage class can be accessible only within the package itself. Which package? Cert package. That means the beverage class declared with default access. So, only classes from the same package can access the beverage class only from the third package. Right, now you have to check T class is belongs to example stuff package, different package. Therefore, the T class cannot access the beverage class. Why? The beverage class is not declared as public. Is that clear?
Yes, clear.
Right. The same thing here, you should be able to see right now. In our case, right now we had right now this package right now here package code com, we have the account class right now. If you do not have the access, public access for the account class, and this is the test class is from right now, I'm gonna delete this now. I think you may have noted down. Right, the test class is from a different package, not from the same package. Therefore, now if I try to run this, compile this, now I will get an error. Account is not public because cannot be accessed from the outside package because we cannot access. Therefore, either this has to be public or the test class has to be inside the same package. Now, those are the options we have. Therefore, here we should be able to see right now the current access class, the beverage class or interface must be public in same package or an accessible member class, right? Therefore, cannot be accessed. Is that clear? Right. And then a public access. Public access means a class declared with the keyword public provide the access for all the Java classes regardless the package. Therefore, classes from all packages access to the public class. Now, if you declare a class with the public access, that means you are providing access to any Java class regardless the package, right? And we have other non-access modifiers. That means if you have other non-access modifiers, these are not for the class access, those for the other functionalities, right? Then if you have final, that means cannot be changed. If it is an abstract, that means partial implementation only. If it is a strict FP, that means all the codes inside the class will conform to the IEEE 754 standard for floating points. Right now, these are the non-access modifiers you can have for a class. Right. Okay. Now that is about the class. Right. Now let's see about the members. Right. The members. Then members. How can we declare the members with public, protected, default, and private? Right now, let's get back to the same exercise here. Right now, right. Now here, I'm gonna have this. Right now, what I'm gonna do is here, I'm gonna have the this method deposit as a void. Okay, this is as a public method, and this one as a default method. Right now, this one as a default method, and the print balance method as a private method. Um, and you can have another one called right now. To make this easier, let's say okay, right. Right now I have just added another method. Now this is protected. Let's say protected method. Right now I have public, private, public default, private protected. Right now here I'm gonna call the method public deposit method, withdraw method, and then I'm gonna call the print balance method and say hello method. Right now run these and tell me what are the errors you are getting. Now the class is public and the constructor is public. Therefore, now you can create the object. Right now, whether we can do this. Okay, try out with. 2 minutes only. Okay, now print balance method should be public. Okay, now what is happening now? Right now, if I try to run this one, right, if I try to run this one, let's compile, and then I'm getting an error. What? Account is not public. Yes, account is not public, therefore cannot access. Now, first of all, the account class has to be a public class, right? If it is a public class now, you will see withdraw method, not a public method. Withdraw method is a not a public method. What is it? It's a default method. It is a default method. Therefore, cannot be accessed from the outside the package, same package. Therefore, just to try it out, um, let me create another folder called another Java class here. Let me take the same test class inside the code com, the account class. Right now here, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna um, right now I don't need to use this right now here. What I'm gonna do. Right. Okay. Now here this is a another class. Okay. Now I'm referring to the test class which is inside the same package right now. Therefore, I'm gonna go into code.com right now for you to see that what I'm doing. Right now you can see here. Um, right now inside the code.com package we have see right now it does not. It says it doesn't has the source file. Therefore, it does not contain a class account. Therefore, because this one contains package code.com. Right now here, let's say now, what if I mention this as code.com, will it work? Right now, it says right now the account A1 uh, class account cannot find the symbol. Right now, what should we do now? It says it cannot find the symbol. Right? It cannot find the symbol. How should we fix it? Right. Okay. Before we come into this, just like we'll finish the previous part, and then I'll let you figure it out by yourself how to fix this kind of issue. Right. Okay. Right now, save. We were talking about compiling this. Then we got an error saying withdraw method cannot access. Yes. Why? The withdraw method is not from the not a public method. It has a default access, therefore cannot access. Therefore cannot be accessed from the outside package. Right. And again, I'm getting an error for the print method, print balance. Yes, what is said? Print balance has private access, therefore cannot access. But now here, I didn't get any error here. Why is it? Because from inside the method, I'm accessing the print balance. Therefore, I'm invoking the print balance inside the method. Therefore, it is okay. I can do it. Right? Say hello method is protected access. Say hello method is a protected access. Only the subclasses O through subclasses O the same package. Then these are two different packages I cannot access. Therefore, this is how we cannot access the members or the variables declared. Right. Now, again, in order to make this easier, right now, let me declare this as a pub. Okay, now you can see here. Right now in my account class, I have only the variables. Right now, if I try to access this the account class, I'm going to create the account class object, and I'm gonna let's say I'm gonna access these variables. A1.name equals John, and A1.account ID 101, and a1 dot balance equals 51,500 and right. Okay, then now since these are default variables, right? Default access, and then if I try to compile this, you will be getting cannot access the name, public in account, and cannot access the account ID, and cannot access the, and yes, it says cannot find the symbol for the account ID, and for the balance it says cannot be accessed outside the package. Because why? Those were declared as, here this should be I capital, right? Now for all these cases should return the same answer, same error. uh, Not public, therefore cannot access. Even if it is a public, then if I make all these variables as public, right now without having any issue, I will be able to access. Right now you can see without any error it gets. Right now, if it is a private field, you can see I cannot be able to access because private means only within the class. Right. Therefore, it says cannot access the private access. Right. Now, if it is a private access, if you want to access from a private class, then you have to have inside the same class. Right. And if it is protected, right, either same class. Oh, right now you can see I cannot because protected access, because I cannot access from the test class because that is not a same package. Right now, that is how you can deal with the non-access modifiers. Right now, let's quickly go through the theory part. Now then, before we talk about the access modifiers, I'm gonna talk about the access issues. Access issues means one class, if it is an access, means one class can access the member of another class, or a subclass can inherit a member of a superclass. A class can access a member of another class, or a subclass can inherit member from a superclass. Now those are the access, right? Now, if it is this, right now quickly check this one, and here let's say now, what do you think? Now there's a class called zoo, which has a method called cool method public, and there's another class called move, which has another method called public method use a zoo. There you create a zoo object. Now what do you think? Can the class move create an object of the class zoo? Can the class move create an object of the class zoo inside a use a zoo method? What do you think? Hello?
It can't use the so
Right, okay. If it is not, tell me why. First thing, is the class Su and Mu are in different packages?
no, no sir.
Okay, same package, right? Therefore, the class has default access permission. Therefore, class Mu can access the class Su, right? Because the the same package level access we have no default access. Then use a Su method is try to create Su object. Is it possible?
No, sir.
Why not?
It should extend
Why
the soon
extend?
inherit the method
No,
from soon.
okay, there are two ways, Nabute. Either you can create an object from a class and you can access the members. Right now, okay, let me show you that first. Right, the ways of accessing the values right now. Right now, okay. Right now, okay, right now, let's say we have class account here and okay, name we have value here. Right, name equals Jane Doe. Right now, this is nothing here we have. Let's say right now, this is a class, and here just you close this for a while, and then we'll have the test method, test class available inside the same place. Right now here, right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create the new account, and I'm gonna print system dot out dot println a1 dot name. Right now, here now these both classes are at the same place. Okay, both classes are at the same place. Right now, therefore, I need to get into the code/com. Right now, both classes are at the same place, and then let me clear this. Right now, both classes are at the same place, and then if I try to compile this, so now I can see I got compiled, and if I run this Java test, right now you can print because it has the default access, same package, both classes are in the same place, same package. I'm accessing the variable, right? Because the default access. Right now, even if it is a public, no worries, right? Even if this is inside a different place, I could access. Even this method, this class is in a different place, I could access if it is a public. Because first I need to, okay, then I'm going to show you that the test method. Here I'm going to open the test method, which is available in the here in the code folder. Right now, here this test method is let's say this is test one, and this is okay. This is test one. Right now, this one here, what I'm gonna do here is right now this is an outside the package. Let's say now in this time I'm trying to access outside the package. Right now, right now this is in a different place, and therefore I need to define this is inside the package code.com. Right now, package code.com. Right now, these are two different classes. different packages. If I try to access it now, right now you will get an error saying the class cannot be accessed because now these are two different packages. Class is not declared as public, therefore cannot access public. Therefore, class is not declared as public, therefore cannot access. Therefore, if you fix that issue, then you will be able to access. Right now, Java test 1. And then you'll be able to get the answer. Now there is like how to access outside the package. Right. Now, if I have make it as a private, and if I make it as a private, and if I try to access it from here, even from the same package or even from the outside the package, you will be getting an error. A name has private access in account, therefore cannot be accessed from the outside. You can access only from within the inside. Right. Now, these are how we could see the access modifiers. Right. Now, the next question is talking about the access modifiers. Right. Now, okay. First thing here, these all the time we have been using creating an object we are trying to access. Okay. We are creating an object and we are accessing the values. Right. Now, if I have, let's say, static variable, static name variable, right? I have a static name variable. Now I don't need to create if I have a static variable. Right now, when I try it, it says cannot find the symbol. Right, that is default public static. Then it has to be public. Outside the package, I'm accessing.
So that A1
Sorry?
test is you accessed it as A1 not account in the
Right.
test run.
Not A1, it has to be account. Yes, it has to be account. My bad. Right. Account class name dot name account dot name. Right now, you can see here. I can access the. This is right Java test one, right? Yes. Right now, I would be able to do it like this. Why? Now, previously I have created using and creating an object. Now this time I'm not creating an object. I'm just calling this by the class name dot the variable name. Now this time I'm accessing this variable. Now why should I need the public keyword here? Right, without public will this work? Without the public will this work?
No,
Why not?
default is accessed only in the
Yes, now then we have these are two different packages, two different places. Therefore, this variable has default access then. Therefore, only within the package you will provide the access. Since you need to access from the outside the package, yes, you need to make it as a public, right? Otherwise, you will not be able to access, right? Okay, that's correct. Okay, then we are accessing through the object class name dot variable name. Right now, that is what happens when you use a static keyword. When you use a static keyword, the variables and the methods are not belongs to the objects, belongs to the class. Right now, previously, if you want to access this whatever the variable, you need to create an object name dot. You need to access it. But now you no longer require it because it is a static variable. Every object will refer to this variable. Now, when you make the static variable, all the objects are referring to the same static variable, Right now, that is how. The other thing is, right now, here, the class test1 become, now this is the third way of becoming accessing an object of a class, becoming a subclass of the account class. Right now, becoming a subclass of the account class, and here it becomes a subclass of the account class, and then it's gonna create a new account, new test1, and right now since it is a static, we will be able to do that. Let's see. Right now, since it is a static variable, now this is a static variable. Right now, this test class here become a subclass of the account class. Therefore, inherited the name variable. Therefore, that's how you access it by just calling the name. But if it is not a static method, then you cannot call the variable name like this. Therefore, if you try to run this, you will get an error. Then it says non-static variables cannot be referenced. Therefore, in order to make it active, you have to create an object from the this particular class, which is test1. Therefore, let's create a test1 object, and then we can call the name variable. Right now, you could access. Right now, this is how you could access the three ways of accessing. The first one by creating an object. The second one based on the access modifiers given, accessing the variables and the methods. The third one by becoming a subclass through inheritance, right? Therefore, in order to access a class, there are class members. There are three ways: by creating an object, by becoming a subclass, or by accessing the class attributes using based on the given access permissions, right? Now we are going back to our question right now. Right now, the question is, can this move class access the Sue class? Yes. Why? The both move and Sue are in the same package with default access. Therefore, since the default access same package, yes, can access. Therefore, the Sue can create an object of the move can create the object of the Sue class because move has access to the Sue. And then the cool method inside the Sue has a public access. Even though it is not public, it can access because of the default access. Therefore, this will print a Sue says wow baby. It will print a Sue says wow baby because the Sue from the Sue object it can access the cool method. Right. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Then we have the public members. Public member means when a method or variable declared as a public, all other classes, regardless the package they belong, can access the member. If it is a public, regardless the package they belong, they can access the member. Right. And here you can see this is a sports car, which is a superclass, and convertible is a subclass, and driver is a separate class. Right. Now, here there's a in the sports car, there's a method in the go fast. If it is a public method, yes, same class can directly invoke the method declared in the same class. Right now, member method in the same class can invoke the method declared in the same class directly. Like you can see, do stuff method is invoked in the go fast method possible. And then convertible class becomes a subclass of the sports car. Therefore, through the inheritance, now the convertible class inherited the go fast method and the do stuff method. Therefore, it can invoke the inherited method. Right. Hi. And also by creating a reference. Right now, here it creates a reference to the sports car by creating an object it accesses. That is also possible. Right, now in the driver class, you can say by creating an object of the sports car, it accesses the sports car methods, and by creating an object of the convertible car, it accesses the methods. Because of the public, yes, it's possible. Public access. If it is private, members marked as private can't be accessed by code in any class other than the class in the private member was declared. Therefore, same level. Same class, within the class access only. Private means within the class can be accessed only within the class it declared. Not out cannot access from the outside classes, can be accessed only within the class itself. Therefore, the same example if you consider the sports car has a private method like go fast and do stuff, then from the same class method called do stuff can access invoke the go fast method because same class within the class. But by creating a subclass you cannot because no access within the class only. By create from a separate outside the class, not a subclass, cannot access. Why? By creating an object cannot access. Why? The go fast is a private method, therefore cannot access. Right. Protected and default. The default member may be accessed only if the class accessing the member belongs to the same package. Therefore, we call it as a package level access. If it is an protected package level access through inheritance, even if it is not in the same package, but if it is a subclass of an outside package, yes, it could have the access. Therefore, protected means package level plus through inheritance. Right. What will happen in this one? Read this and tell me.
Demo class can't use the alpha variable and gamma variable.
Sorry.
Access demo class can't use the alpha and gamma variable.
Alpha and gamma variable. Right. Why gamma variable?
Default access.
Okay.
So if
Try
the
out.
default isn't happening in variables like the classes,
I didn't get you, Putra. What is it?
so is default access modifier is only affectable to the methods in the classes.
Right. Okay. Let's
Oh,
come through the beginning. Okay. Now what it says. Class. We have two different classes. My class and the access demo. Both are but both are default. No package is given. Therefore, we can assume that both are from the same package. Right. Therefore, alpha, beta, gamma variables declared private alpha variable, public beta variable, default gamma variable. And there's a method called set alpha, which is a default access, and get alpha, which is a default access. Right. Therefore, now we have a class called access demo in there's a main method, and there it tries to create a my class object. Can the access demo create a my class object? Yes. Why? Both are in the same package. Yes, the my access demo has the access to my class. Then can. And it try to set the value, set alpha as 99 minus 99. Yes. Set alpha has default access. Therefore, yes, you can access the set alpha method. And then here you can try to print the get alpha value. The get alpha also has the default value. Therefore, ob.alpha is, it will return the alpha value. Right, which is 99. And then again, it can set ob.alpha as 10. Now the problem is, can you set the alpha value as 10 from the access demo class? Can or can't?
Can't.
Can't. Why? Alpha variable declared as private, therefore cannot be accessed from the outside the class. Therefore, this is cannot. Then ob.beta 88. Can you change the value of the beta variable to 88?
Can.
Yes. ob.gamma 99. Gamma is default access, therefore can it? Yes. Why? The gamma is the default variable, default access permission. Therefore, yes, within the default means within the package level access, yes. Therefore, can be accessed. Right. Any questions up to now? Right. Now we have discussed about the instance variables and methods, about how to apply the access modifiers. And then remember, for the local variables, you cannot assign the access modifiers. For the local variables, there is a never case where access modifiers can be applied to a local variable. Right. Therefore, remember, access modifiers cannot be assigned to a local variables. Right. Therefore, as a summary of the access modifiers, if it is a public, same class yes, protected, same class yes, default, same class yes, private, same class yes, have the access. Another class from the same package, public yes, protected yes, default yes, private no, only within the same class. Subclass from the same package, public yes, protected yes, default yes. If it is a subclass outside the package, public yes, protected yes through inheritance, default no, because default means only within the package. And if it is a non-subclass outside the package, then if it is a public access, yes, protected cannot because not a subclass, default cannot because not in the same package, private cannot because not in the same class. Right. Okay, is this clear up to now? Any questions up to now? You should ask now.
So is there an exam?
For this class, yes, there will be, yes, at the end.
Is it online?
Yes, we will discuss that at the end or later on. Let's discuss the questions related to this content what you have done up to now. Right. Okay, then. Right. Then we can have the reference variables, how to declare the reference variables, and reference variables can be declared as static variables, instance variables, or methods, parameters, or local variables. Right. Then instance variables means variables which are inside the class, outside any method. And these will get initialized when you call the constructor. When you create an object, these will get initialized to the default values if you are not assigned the value. Right, now that we have already discussed. And then the instance variables are the variables declared inside the class, outside any method. And if it is a local variables are declared inside a class, inside a method. Therefore, the local variables are valid only. The instance variables are available throughout the class, but the local variables are valid only within the given scope. If it is declared inside a method, until the method finishes, it will be available. And local variables must be initialized before using. Otherwise, you cannot use it. Therefore, local variables must be initialized in order to use it. Right. Now here you can see right now. Can someone tell me why this count variable is not okay? When you're trying to assign count equals I, why it cannot now? It is cannot. Why it is?
The count variable is in the method login. It
Yes,
can't
the
access
count
by.
variable declared inside the method login. Yes, count variable is declared inside the login method. Therefore, count variable is only available up to this point. Once this bracket finishes, that means login method finishes. Thereafter, no longer count available. Therefore, here there is nothing called count. There is no count variable available. Therefore, cannot access. Right now, let's say, and okay, now let's say we have inside the class test. Now this we have already discussed last time during the last day. We have integer count, and we have another method called void get count. Okay, set count. Right now, how can I assign? Now this is variable shadowing because now count equals count. Right now you can see here, this is the instance variable count and this is the local variable count. Now both variable has used the same name. Therefore, it is possible to declare a local variable as same name as the instance variable. Now this is what you call as variable shadowing. Right now in this scenario, how to access now how can I assign the value passed here for this count variable, which is a parameter, to the instance variable count? How can I do that?
Using this keyword.
Yes, using this keyword, right? If you using this keyword, if you say this dot count, it would be printed here. It would be assigned here, right? Now, for an example, here this is 9, okay, and then here for this count variable, I have passed 10, okay, and no, okay. Right now, here we have integer count equals 10, and then I'm printing system.out.println. I'm going to print the count variable. And after this, we have print. There's a method called print. And there I'm going to print. Right. What would be the output? Okay, here is out. S out means system.out.println. Okay.
10 and 9.
Sorry.
10, then 9.
10 and 9. Okay, you can't say this, no? Right, then you don't know how I have invoked this, right? Therefore, okay. Right, then there's another one with the main method. Then here I'm gonna call. First, I'm gonna print the set. I'm gonna execute the set count method. When I call the set count method, what would be the value it print? Is it 10 or 9?
10,
10. And when I print the when I invoke the print method, what is the value it gonna print?
9.
9, yes, because right now in this point at this point when you refer to the count, that means it referring to the local variable count. But if you want to print the 9 here, how can you do that?
Discount.
Yes, you
Discount.
have to use the keyword this. Yes, exactly, very good. Right, then that is done. Right, then we have shadowing. Right now here, tell me what is happening now. When you call the login method, what would be the value?
10.
10. And when you call the count method, what would be the value?
9.
9. Right. Right. Then here there's a variable called foo. Is this an instance variable or a local variable? Insights. Is this an instance variable or a local variable?
Instance variable.
Instance variable. Yes. This is a declared inside the class outside any method. Therefore, this is a instance variable. Right. Now, therefore, if you want to refer to this instance variable at this point, then you have to use this dot variable name. Right. That is how you refer to the class attributes. Right. And in order to invoke the methods, if the methods are declared with parameters, then you need to pass the arguments, right? Therefore, if you have declared the methods with the parameters, then if you want to invoke them, you need to pass the arguments as the exact order, exact number. Right now, for an example, if there's a method called do stuff with a first string and integer, then you need to pass a string value first, then an integer. Otherwise, you cannot. Right. And so far we have discussed about the constructors and methods, and constructor does not have return type, and constructor has the same name as the class name. Constructors cannot mark as a static, and method has a return type, and constructors cannot mark as a final loop abstract. Right. And then we are going to the final variables. If you declare a variable as a final, then make it impossible to reinitialize. That means it is impossible to change the value once you assign it. Once you assign a value, you cannot change it. Right, if you declare it as a final. Right, now for an example here, if you have final, and if you try to assign this, not the extent. And you can see if you declare a variable as a final, then you cannot assign the value for a final variable, because declaring a variable as final means you are making it impossible to change the value. Therefore, once you assign a value, that cannot be changed once you make it as a final, right? Okay, what if now you have not assigned any value here? Right. Now you can say you cannot assign a variable due to the final variable. Right. Then if it is a final class, that means if it is a final class, that cannot be subclass. Final classes cannot be subclasses, and final methods cannot be overridden, and final variables cannot change the values. Final variables cannot be assigned to a new value once the initial method initial value is assigned. That cannot be changed, because the value must happen before the constructor completes. The initial assignment of the value must happen before the constructor completes, because right now in this example you can see here, right now here after the constructor completes, I'm trying to assign the value for the variable, and then I'm getting an error that I cannot do that, because here I'm if you are assigning a value to the final variable, that has to done before the constructor completes. Right, then that is how we can do it. And then let's say we have variable called integer x. Okay, public integer x equals 10 and public integer y equals 20, x equals 10, y equals 20, and then here I want you to create three objects from the count class and assign here one is a static variable, right? And then assign the values. Right now, this is the account class, and then try to create three objects from the account class and then assign the values to the x and y variables, and thereafter print the x and y variables, and then tell me what do you see. Okay, now time is enough, right? Now tell me, what happens when you have the x and y values when you create the objects? A1, A2, and A3, right? And I'm going to assign that A1 dot x equals 11, where A1 dot y equals 21. Right now, A1 dot x, A2 dot x. Eleven, let's say 12, 22, 13, and 23, and then I'm going to print A1 dot x plus A1 dot y. Right, what would be the output? That's what I'm asking. Now you have already done it, right? Semicolons are missing here. Yeah.
So you use colons.
Ah, yes, colons. I have used colons. Yes, right. Right, and then let's print it and see. This is test one, right? Java test one. Right now you can see here when I print a1.text, it prints 11. Here this has to be changed now. A1, A2, A3. Now you can see A1 X values are printed like 11, 12, 13, but A1.y, A2.y, A3.y gives you the same value. Why is it? Because when you use a static keyword, remember, when you use a static keyword, there will be only one reference of that variable. There will be only one copy of that variable because that variable belongs to the class. That means here, when you create an object, now previously we have learned that like instance variables have, that means every object has its own copy of instance variables. That's what we learned. When you create A1, A2, A3, A1 has its own copy of x and y variables, A2 has x and y variables, A3 has x and y variables. But since you have made it as y as a static variable, then y variable is not belongs to A1, A2, A3 objects. Y variable is belongs to the class. Therefore, the class belongs to the y variable where A1, A2, A3 belongs copy of x variables. Right now, that's what happens when it comes to the static variables. Is that clear? Right now, static modifier is used to create variables and methods will exist independently of any instance created for the class. If it is, it will exist independently. Right. And right now, that is about access modifiers, and then apart from that, I will be talking about the enumerators, and then we'll wind up for today. Right, enumerators. Enumerator means list of predefined values. After 1.5 Java, they have introduced something called enums or enumerated list. Enums. Right now, enums are defined just for just to have defined type of values. That means if you have a, let's say, variable called, let's say, size. Now you need to have variable define values for the size. Right now, if you want to have defined values for the size, then you can declare an enumerated list for size, and then inside the brackets you can have the values that you want: large, let's say small, medium, and large. Only these are the only sizes you require, right? You can declare like this. Right now, here inside this variable, this class, let's say I'm going to create a variable called public type size type variable for my size. Right now, if you are creating a my size variable here, now if you create the my size variable here right now, a1 dot my size, you can't have your own values. Right now, if I try to assign a1 dot my size equals, let's say, large. Right now, if I just say large, let's see what's gonna happen. Right now, we don't need x variable anymore. Right now, if I try to assign this, right now you'll get an error, cannot find symbol a1 dot my size. Right now, we are trying to assign variable my size. Right now, variable my size is the class account in the type of size enumerated list. Right now, this is what I have here. Right now, when I'm trying to access it, then you can see I'm getting an error. Right now, this is what you call as the enumerated list. Right now, in enumerated list, right now, since I have declared outside the class, right now I have declared the outside the class. If I want to assign the value, now the type of the variable is this enumerated list type, which is size, and I have declared the value as well. Then if I want to assign a value here, then I need to say size dot, I can say size dot large, size dot large. Likewise, I can say it. Right now, if I am printing this one here, right now, if I'm trying to print this, now I can get compile it, and then let me run this. Then it would print large. Right now, if I want to assign just let's say some other value here, if I try to assign large here the way I want, then if I try to compile it, I'll get an error saying incompatible time. String cannot be converted to a size because the variable type is size now, therefore cannot be converted to a size. Size is an enumerated list, and this enumerated list can only contain values either S, M, or L. Either it could be small, medium, or large. You can't have any other value apart from this. You can't have any other value apart from this. You can't have, let's say, even if you just can't type M, so then you have to, if you want to use it M, then you have to say size dot size dot M, right? You can use size dot M, then it get declared, and then you can use it. Right now, here, if you want to assign it here, if you want to assign it by here, now a1 dot, if you want to access this my size variable, now you have to assign it by using the size dot, let's say size dot L. Right now, here you can see here when I'm trying to say size. Now this one is an outside package right now here. Therefore, it gives you an error saying that you cannot access from the outside the package right now because this is inside the package and we are trying to access it from the outside the package. Therefore, how to fix it? It's up to you. Okay, tell me, quickly fix it and tell me. I'll give you 1 minute. How to fix this and tell me. Yes, what to do here? Okay, now why you can't do this now? Okay, even like okay, now you can think that okay, now this is not a public one, therefore that's why you can't do it. Like now, if you try to assign it, if you try to compile it, now you can say you cannot find symbol, then you assume okay, this is not a public. That's why, but you can't make a public because if it is a public, there will be only one public class per source file. Therefore, if you want, you have to have it in a different one. You need to have it in a different one, right? Therefore, if you really want to try out, you can save it in a different one inside the same package, different one, and then you could try out. And okay, now I have showed you that how to access, how to use the enumerated list, right? Now, normally enumerated list are used to have predefined set of values, right? Now, not only this way, um, here we can have it control S, control S. Right now this is working. Right now, if you again, you can have an enumerated list as well inside the class as a class member as well. You can have a class member as well. Then you can have enumerated colors, let's say, and if you want to have something called a color, let's say you want to have red and blue only, you need to have, since these are predefined values which are constant values, right, always use these variables as right now in uppercase letters. Right now here, now you can declare a variable from color type variable called CLR, and you can say now since it is inside the it is a class member, you can just do it as red or blue. Likewise, you can assign. Right. Right now it says what color CLR cannot access. Is it? Then you have to color. Yes, you can access it like this. Right. Now this has to be accessed as a right. Now this you may be able to change it. Now let's see. A1 dot CLR is equals to account dot color dot blue. Okay, this is not a public. It says Right now, this is how you assign the value as well, because now this is inside, this is a class member now. Therefore, this is a class member. Therefore, I can make it as a public, then I can access it. Therefore, I can access the value from as a class member, because I'm importing the account class, then account, color, enumerator, blue. Likewise, I can access it. But here for the size, I cannot access. Why? Now the enumerator size I have declared as a class right outside the class. Therefore, that also act as another class. Therefore, in the source file, you cannot have two public classes. Therefore, I cannot do it. Therefore, if you want to do it, you have to create it in a different source code, different file, and save it as a. If you make it as a public, a public one, then you have to do accordingly, right? Therefore, this is what you call as enumerated list. Enumerated lists are used to have predefined values. Whenever you want to have some predefined set of values to a variable to have, then you need to have, we have no other option. Only option is using the enumerated list, or you can call as enums by using an enum. Right now, that is how you have to do it. If you want to have specific type of values, specific answers for a variable, then you have to only use enums, enumerated list. That is how you can achieve it. Right. Any questions you can ask now? Any questions up to now?